On my girlfriend's birthday, my male best friend hugged her and kissed her passionately. For a moment, everyone in the room held their breath and looked at me in unison. I smiled slightly. A moment later, I opened my mouth to break the silence. Go on. Don't ruin the atmosphere of the game. On Jiangyu's birthday, the private room was filled with my college classmates, and I was sitting on the sofa in a straight suit. And my girlfriend Jiangyu was pulling her male best friend to sing a love song. Shenlang, when will you marry our Jiangyu home? Her bestie was teasing from the sidelines. I was just about to open my mouth when I saw the scene of a lifetime. My girlfriend and her male best friend were hugging each other tightly. Kissing. The college friends cheered in unison. Their attention had been drawn to another matter, the game between Jiangyu and Qifeng. Jiangyu lost, and the losing party had to embrace and kiss the other party. This rule was of course suggested by Qifeng. Qifeng is his girlfriend's ex, and even more so, her boyhood friend. In the last few years, he suddenly appeared as a male best friend, so naturally, he was drunk. This is not good. Jiangyu pretended to be reserved, but looked at Qifeng with eyes full of anticipation. Qifeng also responded with the same look. The four eyes were full of love. Everyone stop. Can't you see that someone's boyfriend is present? Qifeng looked at me with a victorious smile. Everyone present also held their breath and looked at me in unison. With a smile on my face, I opened my mouth to break the silence. Continue. Don't ruin the atmosphere of the game. Look at others. Shenlang, how atmospheric. Boyfriends should look for such. Girlfriends are not afraid of chaos. Once again, the coaxing. I didn't bother to look at them and drank alone. He said he doesn't care. Let's continue. Qifeng had a smug look on his face. Jiangyu, however, was a little stunned, not daring to believe that I would say these words. Then she was a bit annoyed and glared at me. Shenlang, wait for me to go back and settle the score with you. In the end, the two of them kissed fiercely. Whoa. The people around immediately started cheering. My heart was in turmoil, my mind recalling everything that happened in the past. The nervousness when I confessed to her for the first time, the joy when I was recognized by her, the caution when I was with her. Her laughter, her tears. After all, they don't belong to me. Stolen things, sooner or later have to return. It's just a pity that I've paid for 2 years. I let out a long sigh, disappointment in my eyes. I know that my girlfriend has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Jiangyu, you must be very happy at this moment. The feeling of getting what you want should be good. Just like when I successfully chased after Jiangyu. Unfortunately, everything is already past. A woman who doesn't love me, don't want her. From that moment on, I made a decision in my heart. Take back all of my love. Alang, what's wrong with you today? After dispersing, my girlfriend pretended to be angry. As expected, she was still so good at acting. Obviously, she did something that crossed the line herself, but she put the blame on me. In fact, she doesn't care about me now, even if she once did. A long time ago, I already knew this, but I just didn't want to believe it. During her college days, Jiangyu was charming and lively, with a slight smile that was enough to make people fall for her. She was good at all kinds of music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, and was the president of the dance club, with a perfect body, and her grades were always at the top. Such a girl can be said to be perfect. She was proud, beautiful, talented, and immaculate. I was one of those girls who had a line of suitors from the street to the end of the alley. From the first time I saw her my freshman year of college, I fell in love with her at first sight. In order for her to see me, I studied hard and improved my grades, learning calligraphy and dance just to have something in common with her. I kept an eye on Jiangyu's news all the time and showed her kindness again and again. Milk, tea, snacks, fruits never stop, famous bags, necklaces sent out countless. I just hope she can look at me. but she returned all the gifts. Yes, the whole school, teachers and students recognized Goddess Howl for a little gift to change their minds. She's so proud, and it's her pride that I loved. But she was blind to me. At that time, she was confident and bright, and she was in love with only one person. That person was Chi Fong, who was recognized by the whole school as the school bully. Chi Fong in college, handsome, outstanding results, on behalf of the school attended many competitions. He could also sing and dance, and played the guitar well. Whenever he appeared on stage at an event organized by the school, he would inevitably attract the screams of countless girls. He even had his own backup group, named Wind Chasers. Chi Fong had so many admirers that he could be considered the man of the hour on campus. Chi Fong accepted Jiang Yu's confession. This pair of golden children known throughout the school, it is the beginning of dating. And holding flowers ready to confess to Jiang Yu, I can only be on the sidelines sad. Become a complete bystander. The news that the god Chi Fong is in love with Jiang Yu, the talented girl of the dance club, soon spread to all corners of the campus and became a good story in the university. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. Although Chi Fong was good-looking, he was extremely philandering. He was soon discovered by Jiang Yu, who was a womanizer. On her birthday, Jiang Yu cried her eyes out. Taking the cake on the rooftop just meant me reviewing for the exam. I regarded her as a treasure and loved her very much. I cared for her in every possible way, took her on trips, ate and shopped. Even if you are busy at work, you will still check in with her. Every day on time to go home to cook, will she hold in the palm of your hand. Slowly, she began to accept me. She asked me about my sorrows and joys, smiled at me, and even began to care about my preferences. I believe that during that time, she loved me. It's just that love that comes from begging is not sustainable after all. With the nourishment of love, I became more progressive. I worked hard and tried my best to improve my performance. I want to work hard to buy my own wedding house, really give her a warm home. I even fantasized countless times about having a child with her in the future. A family of three meals in 4 seasons. Living happily together. Everything at that time was so beautiful. I felt as if I was dreaming. Finally, one day, the dream woke up. Her Prince Charming came back. Chi Fong inexplicably appeared in our city, in Jiang Yu's life. On the street, they glanced at each other. With just that glance, I knew that Jiang Yu's heart no longer belonged to me. But I can't let go of her. I can't let go of these years of yearning. I can only deceive myself and others by pretending to be deaf and dumb to maintain this relationship that exists in name only. Gradually, she began to go out early and return late, began to send ambiguous text messages with Chi Fong, began to express boredom with my concern, began to dress up exquisitely. I looked at Jiang Yu in the mirror and knew I had lost. We have been together for 2 years, in order to please her. I sent countless expensive jewelry, clothes, and bags. But she never seriously dressed herself. She told me that we are family, don't care too much. In hindsight, it's probably because she didn't think I was worthy it. I am obviously not the one who pleases her. What she cares about is only Chi Fong. I struggled to hold on, unwilling to give up, telling myself that she was just shaken up. As long as I was good enough, she would definitely change her mind. Until the day of the birthday party, she and Chi Fong kissed together. I know my dream should wake up. When I got home that day, I ignored Jiang Yu, walked straight to the living room and slept on the sofa. Bang! The loud slamming of the door came. Jiang Yu was obviously angry. She didn't understand why her number 1 licking dog suddenly stopped licking. In fact, it was just that it wasn't in love anymore. Love is like this: when I love you, you are the flower, the sea, the wind, the clouds, all the beauty in the world. When I don't love you, you're just you, nothing to do with me. I slept beautifully, without the worries of love. My heart suddenly opened up a lot. This is the most solid sleep I've ever had. I don't have to worry about Jiangyu being unhappy. I don't have to put up with her bad temper. I don't have to be afraid of Qifeng taking her away. Only need to consider whether I am happy or not. The next day when I woke up, Jiangyu made breakfast. At the dinner table, she kept staring at me. I ate in silence, her cooking, still so hard to eat, only because she said that doing housework aged fast. I had contracted almost all the housework over the years. All she did was eat, drink, and be pretty. At that time, I thought the years were quiet. Now think about it, only feel very ridiculous. Shenlang, don't you have anything you want to say to me? Jiangyu interrupted my thoughts. She couldn't help it after all. She is a goddess. In her opinion, the fact that she can cook for me with her own hands is already a heavenly gift, so I should naturally be like a spring breeze and obediently follow the steps down, answer her questions, and then wag my tail. I knew that she was trying to ask me why I didn't care yesterday. But it all didn't matter. I didn't want to bullshit too much. The food was a little salty. I threw down 4 words and turned around to go out the door, leaving Jiangyu alone and dumbfounded. Today's weather is exceptionally good, and my mood is the same. There are times when people can only get if they learn to give up. I arrived at the company early. After not having any worries, my work efficiency directly doubled. Ever since Qifeng appeared, I was scared every day. I argued with Jiangyu constantly, and my performance plummeted. Now, I'm going to completely change myself. Take back everything I want. Shenlang, aren't you happy? Jiangyu sent a message, looking at the words on the screen. I smiled to myself. In the past, every time we quarreled, no matter if it was right or wrong, I was the one who bowed my head first. Asked her if she was happy. And when did she ever care about my likes and dislikes? In her opinion, I am just one of the people who fall under her pomegranate skirt. I was at her beck and call. At that time, I never thought that between us, there will actually be a day of status switching. My heart secretly happy, but also began to understand how much I fell at that time. The original mastery of the initiative. So good. I ignored her message and focused on my work. The performance appraisal was coming up at the end of the month, and I must work hard to get the position of department manager. Before, I gave up many opportunities for Jiangyu. In the future, I will only live for myself. After finishing my work at noon, I hurriedly walked out of the company, intending to eat casually in the neighborhood and then go back to work. Instead, I saw a car in front of the company, a brand new BMW. Drop. Qifeng held the steering wheel in his hands and pressed the horn. Jiangyu sat in the passenger seat with a displeased look on her face. I've heard long ago that Qifeng had previously gotten close to a rich girl on the basis of his good looks. The girl gave him a car, and when she got tired of playing with him, she kicked him away and found a new love. I can't imagine that this kid is so shameless that he actually uses the benefits of eating soft rice to show off. This is probably the so-called soft rice hard to eat. Of course, I understand that Qifeng did this just to show me how close Jiangyu is to him and to show off his strength to me. What a childish idea. In the past, I might have cared. But now, it doesn't matter anymore. Shenlang, you. Jiangyu was halfway through her sentence when she realized that I was looking at her coldly, so she had to change her tone. Lang, why don't you read my messages? Jiangyu was slightly flustered. Before, I was at her beck and call. She didn't know why I suddenly didn't care about her. Of course it was because of disappointment. When a person's disappointment builds up enough, they will leave. That was the case with me. Sorry, I was too busy at work to see it. My reasoning was polite and false, just like she once was. I didn't care, so it didn't matter. Didn't care, so distant and polite. Just like treating a stranger. Jiangyu's eyes were filled with surprise. She couldn't believe that I would actually get rid of her control. For so many years, I was like a puppet, at her mercy, without complaint. Soon, her eyes changed from surprise to anger. She was going to start fighting back. I'm not going back at night. I'm partying at Qi Feng's house. Jiang Yu gently raised her eyebrows and looked at me with contempt. She took the initiative to hold Qi Feng's arm, her eyes full of tenderness, just like a couple in love. The love was as strong as glue. Qi Feng is also in a victorious posture, sizing me up. He is waiting for me to be angry, waiting for me to make a fool of myself. This is the entrance to my company. It's more than appropriate to make a fool out of me here. It really was a good match for a jackal with a wolf and a tiger. Have fun then, I'm going to go eat first. I gave a perfunctory sentence, and left in style in her puzzled eyes. What's the harm in losing something that's not mine? Drip. The horn sounded again. This time it was pressed by Jiang Yu. She wanted to use this to warn me that she was really angry. Usually at times like this, I would immediately apologize. Then buy a gift, book a restaurant, and make her happy. Then she does whatever she wants again, and I'm never able to do anything about it. This seems to have become a cycle that is unique to the two of us, but it won't be in the future. Right now, I just want to be happy. I want to get back to who I really am, and her likes and dislikes don't matter. A woman who doesn't love me doesn't deserve to be turned back, and she doesn't deserve to be turned back. I was in a good mood and devoted myself to work. Soon finished the day's task. In the evening, I blew the evening breeze, hummed a tune, and looked at the traffic on the street. I felt, for the first time, that the world was so beautiful. I found myself again. In the past, when I was off work, if I didn't go home on time, Jiang Yu would scold me. I had to smile, and at that time, I was happy with that. As long as she is happy, I can do anything. Now I think about it is really ridiculous. A person who has lost his principles and self, how can anyone love him? Back home, I changed into loose pajamas and lazily lay on the sofa. Without Jiang Yu, my time is suddenly free, and I do things as I please. I can smoke without fear, turn on the TV and turn up the volume, and with beer and kebabs, enjoy my time alone. I didn't have to be afraid of waking Jiang Yu up, and I didn't have to abstain from eating because she hated the smell of barbecue. What a wonderful night. I began to regretting that I wasted so much time before because of Jiang Yu, regretting being sad for someone who doesn't deserve it. I took a selfie and sent it to my friends, with the caption, "Joyful alone time." Ding! A few minutes later my cell phone rang. It was a message from Jiang Yu. Be good, drink less, it's not good for your health. I don't give a damn. The cat that stole the fish actually began to take the initiative to care about the salted fish in the pot. Now that I think about it, it's really not worth it. Why give up the whole forest for a withered rose? Flower Yingxue is straightforward and has invited me many times to express her liking for me. I also like this simple girl. We watched movies together, flew kites together, rode in a hot air balloon together, and walked through the streets together. Later, I confessed my love to her. We came together logically. She loved to laugh, especially when she was around me. She would share her joys and sorrows with me, would be angry because I came home late. She would be ecstatic that I had prepared a surprise. She would check in with me at parties, and she would carefully remember every important day, carefully selecting gifts and setting up the venue. It was the first time I was touched beyond words by someone who cared so much. Sure enough, the person who really loves you will not let you give all the time. She will return your love with all her heart. With Hua Yingxue, every day is a joy. I can do what I like with impunity and love who I want to love. After some more time, I rented a bigger house. New house, new life. New lover. Everything is so beautiful. Jiang Yu also slowly faded out of my sight. I heard that she has not agreed to Qi Feng's pursuit. On the contrary, began to alienate him. Women are really inexplicable. A few months later, next to me came a mysterious tenant. It is said that in order to live here, he compensated the previous tenant for a year's rent. I don't know why, but a sense of foreboding welled up in me. Intuition told me that things were not that simple. I agreed with Hua Yingxue that I would never cohabitate before we got married. so this house has always been my sole residence. Once after work, Jongyu appeared in front of my house. She was dressed sexily, smelling of alcohol, and staggered up to me. What are you doing here? I frowned with a look of disgust. Just like she disliked me in the first place. Long, I missed you. Jongyu jumped at me. She was wearing the necklace I gave her. I pushed her away. What's the matter, Missy? Did you not have enough to eat at your own home? Running to me for an extra meal. I looked disdainful. No, I don't contact Qifeng anymore. Long, you have to believe me. It has nothing to do with me. My tone was cold. What more do you want from me? I've spent all my savings to be near you. I have no choice. Jongyu lost her goddess's high spirits and her eyes turned red. A face of humility. Jongyu, wake up. We've already broken up. I reminded her, I know, but I can't control myself. Please don't leave me behind, as long as you promise to get back together. Let me do whatever I want. Please. I already have a girlfriend. Does that bother you? I was completely out of patience and just wanted to get rid of her quickly. Jongyu first froze, then her body froze. She knew that this sentence was something she used to say to me all the time in the past. She looked at me in despair for a long time. Only then did she slowly get up. I'm sorry. I won't return to bother you again. Jongyu turned around and went home, her back desolate and miserable. I looked at her back with an indescribable feeling in my heart. Oh. Not long after, Jongyu moved out. This time, she kept her promise and didn't appear in my life again. I went to work and left work as usual. Every day with the flowers reflecting snow sweet, wind and flowers. In comparison, Jongyu's situation is particularly miserable. I heard from my former classmates that after she broke up with me, she was a mess every day and drowned her sorrows in alcohol. Qifeng played the green tea skills and took advantage of the situation. The two of them had a night of rain and clouds, and Jongyu became pregnant. She wanted to marry Qifeng, but did not realize that Qifeng is a carrot. He doesn't want to be responsible at all. Not only that, he often brought different women home. Plus, Qifeng's parents do not like Jongyu. Jongyu has no choice but to raise her child alone and become a single mother. I had a sigh of relief. Life in the world faces many choices, sometimes wrong. It will affect a lifetime. Good thing I made the right choice. I looked at the flowers beside me to a smile of relief. After getting married, I bought a big house. Living happily with Hua Yingxue, she loves me so much that she can read all my thoughts and support my decisions. With her company and encouragement, my career flourished. I opened a company of my own to fulfill all the wishes of Hua Yingxue. Just because she was worth it, we lived a rich life. We traveled abroad together, shopped at jewelry stores together, ate Western food together, and I finally got my own BMW. After I came into my own, I had more and more suitors. I politely refused those girls, because I know that the one who is qualified to be with me for the rest of my life. Only Hua Yingxue. We were each other's only one, and all the happiness seemed to come at this moment. Fate is always full of coincidences. That day, I went shopping with Hua Yingxue. We were talking, laughing, and playing around it. Out of nowhere, I saw a familiar face. It was Jongyu. She was dressed in a street stall, setting up a stall at the street corner, selling some small jewelry. Her face was full of vicissitudes, and she had a lot more gray-haired. Obviously has been bent by life. Beside her, there is a girl bouncing. The child was very good-looking. Long time no see. I hesitated for a moment and went up to say hello. Hubby, I'll wait for you at the cafe next door. Hua Yingxue walked away tacitly. She still understands me so well. Jongyu told me that since breaking up with Qifeng, she has been running around with her child in order to make ends meet. After leaving the campus for many years, she had been pampered and had long lost her professional abilities. Coupled with the need to raise her child, She was rejected for many job interviews. She had to take odd jobs to earn money, cleaning ants, cafeteria workers she did. Finally decided to set up a stall, have a stable income before making plans. I looked at her, a moment speechless. Things are not what they used to be. Want to talk about tears first? I wanted to help her, but I didn't know how to speak that. She smiled at me. Shinlang, don't worry about me. I'll pay for my own mistakes. I wish you happiness. In that instant, she seemed to have changed back to the confident and bright girl she was in college. It's been a long time since I've seen Jiangyu from my college days. I left a credit card with her birthday as the password. She didn't reject me. On the way home, Huang Xue took my arm and slowly walked forward. I looked at her face and fell into deep thought. Honey, what are you thinking about? Huang Xue pinched me and opened her mouth to ask. I'm thinking, it's good to have you. I looked at her fondly, and under the setting sun, her cheeks were slightly red. I took her into my arms and kissed her deeply. We would have many more years.